Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering the final movie in the Monster High reboot and franchise as a whole. Electrified!
In our last podcast for October.
Yes.
Now when fake Clawdeen dreams of opening a salon named for monsters and normies, Frankie has the perfect place, an abandoned power station outside town.
What?
But the idea sparks negative voltage when some crap Moanica plans to ruin the whole thing and replace the celebration with something a little more shocking.
Yeah, this was shocking.
We will say horrifying.
Right, which we will explain why we call this Horrified. Not because it's scary in like more of a monster way, or scary as in this is scary to watch as a Monster High fan as a whole.
Yes, we can't believe you actually made this.
Yes.
Now, hopefully, like us, you are fans of the original Monster High franchise. Hooray, hooray, wonderful, glorious perfection that no longer exists.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Hasbro.
Now, to give you a quick recap, we've actually done podcasts on the original Monster High franchise and a little bit of the reboot. Now, originally Monster High, we had talked about what it was about. It was about these children of famous movie monsters and legend monsters that go to this high school. And it was a really fun idea. At first, we weren't sure how it was going to be. And then when we got into the show, we really loved the movies. We loved the little shorts online. We loved the music. It was a really fun, creative idea from Mattel. And for a while...
You let me say Hasbro.
Hasbro?
You let me say Hasbro.
I think so used to Hasbro from doing My Little Pony and Transformers and stuff. So apologies for that.
No, I said it. So apologies for me.
And then in 2016, I believe, they decided that they were going to reboot Monster High despite having terrific sales in merchandise, movies, acclaim, and everywhere. For some reason, Mattel still decided they need to rebrand Monster High, which began a new story and reboot called Welcome to Monster High, which completely changes the Monster High story.
And this explanation was as long and boring as Electrified. I'm sorry. Yes, so in all seriousness, this reboot was one of the worst decisions ever made for a franchise. As Rascal said, it was well loved. It had merchandise galore. The movies were still popular. The movies were still selling. And I think you did mention that the last one that was put out was... what was the last one that was put out?
Before this one?
With the Kraken? Before the reboot.
Oh, it was Great Scary Reef. That was the final movie in the original version.
And that was done only months prior. Not a year ago, not years ago, but just a few months, literally prior, less than 6 months, prior to the reboot and the release of this movie.
Right.
And the characters have been overhauled. The school was overhauled. It no longer was a school. It was Dracula's castle, temporarily. The characters aren't even... they don't even resemble themselves in terms of not only looks, but their personalities, the self-confidence they had, and the franchise itself. Now it's like a human world rather than being a monster world. In the original Monster High, everyone was wealthy. There was no racism. There was no sexism. There was nothing but fun and great messages and awesome fashion.
Right.
But in this one, it's being reduced to
comments
on tropes, comments on race, comments on hierarchy in society, comments on bullying, comments on things that just aren't necessary. The first franchise made the Monster High concept fun. Mm-hmm. This one doesn't. So we'll stop talking about the previous one and we'll get to Electrified.
Right.
The best thing about this movie is the original voice actors return.
That is correct. And they sound slightly different, but they're still the same people. Yes. And they still let them reprise other characters they've done if they'd bring them back in the reboot rather than have different people do their voices, right, which was a great plus.
Absolutely. That was the best part.
And we did get to see the original main monsters return, but a lot of the side ones and like this whole school they had were just overhauled. The only ones other than them they brought back were Deuce, Gil, and Abby.
They left out a lot of main ones in terms of, because, as we mentioned, they're not even the same. We'll start with Clawdeen. And Clawdeen, instead of having her awesome brother Claude and her sister...
Was it Claudia or Howleen?
She had Howleen and she had Claudia.
Okay.
They don't exist. Now she has 10 brothers who are all wolf pups.
It's like the Loud House.
With her mom who looks like Halle Berry, and they live in a cave in the woods somewhere.
It's like, what?
And automatically, they're poor.
Right. I'm like, wait a minute. Because how else do you get all these clothes and stuff? That was what was hilarious about the first one. Everyone could afford to buy houses full of clothes because they all were rich and wealthy.
Now, Draculaura, she returns with just her dad, and I guess he's a widower. He's turned into Hotel Transylvania dad.
Right. Of course, who was Dracula, too.
Right.
They look like they just took that and copied it, because Dracula acts a little bit like Dracula's daughter in Hotel Transylvania. So it looks like they just copy and pasted the plot of Hotel Transylvania into these two Monster High films.
Right. And Clawdeen had this sassiness about her, this takes no crap attitude, but she was really sweet and she loved her her ghoul friends. And what made Draculaura so adorable is that she has such a sweet personality. Mm-hmm. And there was an innocence to Dracula's daughter, like her eating tomatoes instead of drinking blood. Mm-hmm. And she loved her boyfriend, Claude. And there was this little cute ship relationship between them. Well, they took that somewhere else. Now we get to Frankie.
Right. She's been changed altogether. She almost has no story this time around. As you know, in the original, she was sent there at 15 days old. But now in here, and for this universe, they've changed the relationship between monsters and humans. Mm-hmm. In the original, that was the closest thing they had to a type of rivalry, but it was really one-sided. Monsters thought that humans attack monsters every Halloween and they were always in danger, and they saw that wasn't true. And the humans believed monsters were going to attack them at any moment, which wasn't true. And they learned to put aside their differences for that. Here, monsters are in hiding all the time. Humans hate monsters to the very core. They're always in fear of them. And the point of Monster High in here is to bring humans and normies together so they can live in peace, when it already was done in the first franchise.
Exactly. And that was done with your favorite movie from the original
Ghouls
franchise.
Rule. Yes, that's right. My absolute favorite. I just love how creative it was.
Yes.
And then, who's the Cleo, right?
Yeah, and Cleo is just a ghost of herself, because in the original, of course, she's Pharaoh's daughter. She has a sister, Nephra, who doesn't exist in here. Her father, of course, was the Pharaoh, who had wealth beyond limits. So they had credit cards that were like a mile long, and she had the best designer fashions, and her attitude was she helped uplift everything, and you laughed because underneath all the little arrogance that she had, she was a sweet character, and she loved Deuce, and Deuce loved her. Well, in here, she has no fashion sense whatsoever. She dresses like she got her clothes from Forever 21 or Kmart, which neither exist anymore. And she doesn't have a personality anymore. She doesn't have that wit and that charm and that arrogance that made her fun to listen to. And she doesn't have Ghoulia.
Right. Oh yeah, Ghoulia has been taken now. We mentioned Moanica. Moanica is the new antagonist of the Monster High universe. Yes, they have antagonists now.
And she doesn't have anyone that waits on her or assists her. She does everything herself. And she's just desperate for friends, which is in no way Cleo. Right.
We always loved her. She was like, oh, it's alright, and they succeeded all thanks to me. It's like, what? Yes, they were inspired by my royal presence. And you're like, okay.
But as you said, they seem to replace her with Moanica.
Yes, who's the antagonist of Electrified. Now, Moanica doesn't like the fact that the monsters, or the ghouls, I should say, want to be friends with the humans, because their mission is to find all of these monsters who are kind of lost in the world and bring them to Monster High so they're safe from humans who want to destroy them.
Right.
That's kind of dark for a little kid's show. And Moanica doesn't want peace between the monsters and humans. She wants to terrorize the humans. They can't say kill because it's for little kids, so she's just reduced to wanting to pull pranks on them and scare them out of their wits. And she has her own army of zomboys that just follows her blindly and does what she says.
One of the funniest, one of the few funny.
Yes.
One of the few funny parts of this movie are the zombies.
Right, because they act like they're kind of stupid, but there are times when they're very sophisticated and they act normal, but if Moanica tells them to do something, they gotta act stupid again. So that was like the best part of their characters. And for this movie, like we said, Clawdeen wants to run a salon for monsters and normies, which is confusing because her original dream
was to be a fashion designer in Paris, or in Scaris with the creme de la creme, and now she just wants to own a beauty shop.
I'm like, wait a minute. And it was weird because we saw her designing clothes. And unless a salon now does fashion too, this isn't the same thing.
That would have been a great concept, but no, they didn't go there. She just wants to do hair, which makes no sense whatsoever.
Since when were you into hair? You're into clothes. I mean, sometimes hair would be there, but it was always about the fashion. That was her character. Now
and her artwork and her drawing and her really wanting to make her place in the monster world. Well, not anymore. She's just happy if she can make a buck because now her family is poor. And it looks like in this version, all the monsters have been reduced to, I don't know what to call it. They've been reduced to blue-collar status. I think that's the way I would put it. They've been reduced to blue-collar status.
Yeah.
Again, they were so fabulously wealthy that the sky was the limit. And again, that's what made it fun because they had these ridiculous concepts and ideas and these trips they would take anywhere at any time, which made for fun, not only fun episodes, but also fun movies.
Right.
But in here, if everyone is struggling to make it and they're monsters, there's a problem, the fun is gone. It's absolutely gone. Deuce is no longer cool in any sense of the word. Geek. And they've got someone named Wraith who now Clawdeen likes. And Gil is in a wheelchair.
I think.
Yeah, Gil is in a wheelchair. But what's her name returns? His girlfriend.
Laguna. Yeah, she's
Laguna
in here.
And Gil is in a wheelchair.
Yeah, and they also have superpowers. Because the time this came out, Marvel was really going sky high with their movies. So a lot of people started putting superhero aspects into their show. So Monster High decided, okay, the ghouls are going to have superpowers now. And they got super speed. The bandages work like Spider-Man. They got electric powers. Clawdeen can turn into a werewolf at will, even though she is a werewolf already. So
and now the werewolves, because of listening to the complaints in the previous incarnation about, well, why does some of the werewolves have hairs on their hands, which really didn't matter because you understood it was conveyed in the franchise that she shaved every day. But now she has hair on her hands and her face and her neck in different places, which makes no sense. She's not Eddie Munster. Now it seems like this franchise, all they were interested in doing is rebooting it so they could spend the least amount of money and make the most money. And this carried over into the merchandising of the low quality dolls that were available. The dolls were so low quality they ended up in dollar stores and other discount stores. The high quality of the original action figures or dolls, whichever you prefer, have them on Amazon from anywhere from $40, $50, $100, $200. They were that beautiful, that well made, posable, just like the ultimate Barbie type doll.
Right.
Now the clothes look like they're made of tissue paper. They are very poorly designed, very poorly made. You can see through the clothes. You can't bend and pose the joints anymore. The dolls look like they probably cost 5 cents. And this is just, and this in a nutshell tells you the quality of this franchise. Now, if you happen to like the reboot, terrific, fantastic, we're so happy for you. But on this one, I don't think there's anything you can tell me. I don't know about Rascal, but there's nothing you can tell me to get me to appreciate or understand the reboot of this franchise. I just can't get it.
Right. And some other things happen in the movie. Like we said, she wants to do a salon. So they got that story. Moanica wants to destroy that because she doesn't want the peace. They got a new character named Ari Hauntington, who's who pretends to be human, so she's a celebrity, can be with humans, and she also goes to Monster High. They do bring back Twyla.
And she's the only one who looks as close as possible to the original franchise character. She still has pretty clothes. She still has been drawn the same. She still has the same personality. Yes, she's the only one who even resembles what she was originally.
Right, because majority of the characters are gone. We don't know if they were going to bring them back slowly as the franchise will go on, or
but
they
now
just
she's Frankie's friend instead of
Halloween.
Yeah.
And for here, a majority of the characters have been changed. And a lot of them are ones you don't recognize, are all new characters. Every once in a while they bring back an old favorite. But most of them are ones that can be made for toys, or what they believe that boys would like from Monster High. Like they would have a Slimer monster. They had some talking skeletons. They had a giant snow beast and stuff that boys would like. But boys were liking Monster High anyway, and there was nothing wrong with it. So it's just a weird movie. And then we gotta definitely talk about, as we said, the fashion of the electrified clothes, because the whole theme was electricity for some reason. You would think it'd be Frankie's movie, which it kind of was, so already Clawdeen didn't have her own movie.
Pretty much the fashion for me looks like someone threw out a bunch of black fabric and threw up on it. That's what these clothes look like.
Yeah.
They're just, it's not even creative. It's not stylish in any sense of the word. Children under the age of 5 would design better clothes than the ones that they wear in Electrified. I'm sorry. There's just no redemption for this movie on any level whatsoever. There's just, part of Monster High was the fashion, was the beauty and the fashion and the cool points that no one says. But at that time, yes, that's what it was about. This movie in no way is cool, fashionable, funny, entertaining, clever, witty, smart, entertaining.
The original.
Stop me.
The original had all of that. This one just doesn't. And we can see why they stopped after this movie. Not just because it was already just barely really bad, other than a holiday special they had that was kind of okay. That Mattel has shut down production of Monster High, period. They literally bankrupt themselves in that department, and now there's no more Monster High thing anyway.
Well, the
no
person
more
who
toys.
made that decision should no longer have a job.
Right.
Or they should pick a different career, because this what they did with this.
Yes, if you're looking for more Monster High stuff, there won't be any until I guess someone decides they want to bring it back. There are no more toys, no more movies, no more shorts, no more specials, no live action movie, nothing.
Hallelujah! You can go back to the original franchise because everything is available on Amazon. The video games, the original movies, the action figures or dolls are there, although you're going to pay a pretty penny if you do want them. But thank goodness, items from the original franchise are still available. So that's what we suggest you do. At one point, Netflix had every movie, and it was fantastic for years. We could just go to Netflix and watch them, and we could save the movies we bought and leave them in the shrink wrap. Well, now they've removed all but 2 of the original franchise.
Yes, they kept New Goo is School and Great Scary, literally the first and last movie of the original, and the first and last movie of the reboot. That's all you can see on there.
So now you'll have to purchase them if you want to see them, unfortunately.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate, but
if you are an original fan, I should say a fan of the original franchise, let us know in the comments below. If you like the reboot, let us know in the comments below. If you think it's a piece of garbage, let us know in the comments below. If you just want to go, why are you girls ragging on this? Let us know that in the comments too.
Right.
We love to hear your comments.
Right. So, and be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on Paws Podcast and World of Paws videos.
As we mentioned, this is our last podcast for the month of October. So, happy trick-or-treating. Get your cosplay on. Enjoy yourself. And we will see you in November with 4 podcasts for 4 movies to be thankful for.
Right. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it to you later on in the form of